The anatomy of a grievance-driven presidency. Donald Trump's political identity and administrative strategy are fundamentally constructed around and fueled by a pervasive sense of personal anger. This analysis posits that the core operational logic of the Trump administration can be decoded not through conventional ideological frameworks but through the lens of a singular, dominant emotion, anger.
The subject's public persona and policy directives are consistently reactive, originating from a perceived slight or challenge to his authority, wealth, or self-image. This creates a governance model where external validation and personal victory supersede institutional stability or long-term strategic planning.
Consequently, the administration's trajectory is characterized by volatility, with official agendas often hijacked by personal vendettas against critics, the media, and investigative bodies.
The feedback loop of resentment, a perpetual campaign of grievance, has become the primary mechanism for mobilizing a political base and deflecting accountability. The strategic utility of this anger cannot be understated. It functions as a potent political tool.
By framing himself as a perpetual victim of a corrupt deep state and fake news, the subject transforms personal insecurity into a unifying narrative for his supporters. This creates a powerful feedback loop. Expressions of presidential anger generate media coverage and social media engagement, which in turn are used as evidence of the alleged persecution, justifying further incendiary rhetoric and action.
This cycle effectively short-circuits traditional metrics of presidential success, replacing them with a loyalty test defined by adherence to the leader's personal narrative and enemies list.
Institutional erosion as strategic output. The deliberate targeting of oversight and information integrity represents a systematic deconstruction of accountability. The operationalization of this anger manifests most consequentially in a sustained assault on institutions perceived as threats.
This includes publicly undermining the Department of Justice and the FBI when investigations touch his orbit, attacking the credibility of the electoral process pre- and post-facto, and applying relentless pressure on witnesses and officials. The goal is to erode public trust in any entity capable of factual verification or legal constraint, thereby creating a political environment where the leader's word is the sole arbiter of truth.
This transforms governance into a high-stakes conflict where preserving personal power is synonymous with degrading the independent pillars of democratic systems.
The inevitable crisis of legitimacy. A presidency built on perpetual conflict is structurally incapable of achieving durable political capital or a stable legacy. The final verdict is that a grievance-based model is inherently self-limiting and crisis-prone.
While effective for mobilization, it provides no foundation for governance, coalition building, or historical legacy. Every institutional check becomes an existential insult, demanding escalation rather than negotiation.
The projected consequence is a continued descent into constitutional brinksmanship, where the only success is survival of the immediate scandal, inevitably followed by a more severe one. The strategic next steps for observers and opponents lie in systematically documenting this pattern not as political disagreement but as a fundamental breakdown in the psychological prerequisites for stable executive leadership, preparing for both legal and electoral reckonings.